I thought it was just a dream. That's the lie I told myself for weeks, repeating it until it felt solid enough to stand on. Dreams can be vivid. Dreams can feel real. Dreams can follow you into the morning and cling to you like a bad smell. That's normal. That's explainable. What isn't explainable is when a dream starts leaving marks behind. The first time it happened, I woke up with my heart racing so hard it hurt. My room was dark, silent, familiar, the kind of quiet that tells you nothing is wrong. I lay there, staring at the ceiling, waiting for the fear to drain out of my body. The dream was already slipping away, dissolving the way dreams always do. All I could remember was running, a hallway that bent when it shouldn't. A sound behind me that wasn't footsteps but wanted to be, and a voice, close, intimate, patient, whispering my name like it had practiced saying it for a long time. I sat up and rubbed my face, annoyed at myself for letting it get to me. Nightmares happen. Stress happens. I checked my phone. 6:42 a.m. Morning light crept through the curtains. Birds outside, a car passing, reality asserting itself. Then I noticed my arm stinging. I pulled back the blanket. 3 red lines ran across my forearm. Thin, parallel, too precise to be random. They weren't bleeding, but the skin was broken, tender to the touch. I stared at them for a long time, my mind scrambling for an explanation. I must have scratched myself in my sleep. A sharp edge on the bed frame, a zipper, anything. I washed the bandaged them, and went to work. By noon, I'd convinced myself it was nothing. The second dream came the next night. This one didn't start scary. It started ordinary, which somehow made it worse. I was standing in my childhood home, in the hallway outside my old bedroom. The walls were the same faded color. The carpet had the same worn path down the center. Everything was exactly as it should have been, except the house was too quiet. No hum of electricity, no distant traffic, no wind. It felt sealed, like sound had been removed from the world. I walked down the hallway, my footsteps making no noise. My bedroom door was open. Inside, the room was empty. No bed, no desk, just bare walls and a single mirror standing upright in the center. I approached it slowly. My reflection didn't move. I stopped. It kept walking, stepping closer to the glass until its face filled the surface. Its eyes were open too wide. Its smile stretched unnaturally, pulling the skin tight. It raised its hand and pressed its palm against the mirror. I raised mine to match it. The glass was warm. I woke up screaming. This time there was no fading. The dream clung to me like it didn't want to lay go. My chest hurt. My throat burned. I reached for the lamp and turned it on, desperate for light. That's when I saw my hand. A red handprint was stamped across my palm, fingers too long, spacing wrong, like someone had pressed their hand against mine and held it there. I dropped my arm like it was contaminated. I didn't go back to sleep. I told myself I was stressed, overworked, maybe sleepwalking. I avoided mirrors for the rest of the day. I kept my hands in my pockets. I didn't tell anyone, because saying it out loud would make it real. By the 4th night, I was afraid to sleep. I lay in bed with the lights on, eyes burning, counting my breaths. Every time I felt myself drifting, panic snapped me back awake. I scrolled through my phone until the words blurred, until my hands shook from exhaustion. I don't remember falling asleep. I remember standing. I was in a room I didn't recognize. The walls were smooth and pale like unpainted bone. No corners, no ceiling I could see. Light came from nowhere and everywhere at once. In front of me was a door. It looked wrong. Not old, not damaged, just incorrect. Like it had been placed there as an afterthought. No handle. No hinges. Just a faint outline where a door should be. I knew, with a certainty that didn't feel like my own, that I wasn't supposed to open it. So of course I did. The moment my fingers touched the outline, pain shot up my arm. Not sharp, deep, resonating. The door peeled open like skin, and something on the other side inhaled. The darkness behind it wasn't empty. It was crowded. Shapes pressed against each other, overlapping, unfinished. Limbs that didn't connect to bodies. Faces that appeared and vanished, like reflections on moving water. They weren't rushing to get out. They were waiting. One of them leaned forward, separating itself from the rest. It didn't walk. It unfolded. Its shape adjusted until it resembled something human enough to be unsettling. You finally noticed. It said, it didn't speak with a mouth. The words arrived fully formed in my head, carrying weight and texture. "This is just a dream," I said, forcing the words out. The thing tilted its head. "That's what dreams are for." It reached out. I woke up choking on my own breath. My sheets were twisted around my legs like something had been pulling at them. My arms burned. I rolled up my sleeve. With shaking hands. Bruises bloomed along my wrists, finger-shaped. That was the moment denial stopped working. I stopped sleeping, not properly. I dozed in short, panicked bursts, minutes at a time, enough to function, not enough to fall fully under. I drank coffee until my hands trembled constantly. I avoided my bed, sleeping on the couch, then the floor, then not at all. It didn't matter. The dreams didn't need sleep anymore. They came when I blinked too long, when my reflection caught me off guard, when the room went quiet for just a second too long. I started seeing things while awake, a figure standing in doorways that vanished when I focused, my reflection lagging behind my movements by half a second. Whispers bleeding through white noise, always just below the threshold of understanding, and always that sense of being watched, not from outside, from somewhere closer. I finally broke down and searched online, typing fragments of my experiences like they were symptoms of a disease, dreams that leave marks, nightmares that continue while awake, feeling watched by something that knows your thoughts. Most results were useless, until I found a forum thread with no replies. The title read, "I thought it was just a dream." Then it started touching me. The post was old, years, the account inactive. My pulse hammered as I read. The writer described the room, the door, the shapes behind it, the feeling of being observed from inside their own head. They described trying to stay awake, described failing. The last paragraph was short. "It doesn't live in dreams. Dreams are just where it introduces itself. Once it knows you can see it, it doesn't need sleep anymore." My reflection smiled at me from the dark screen of my phone. I dropped it that night. I didn't even try to rest. I sat against the wall with every light on, knees pulled to my chest, eyes burning. Hours passed. My body begged for sleep. My mind fractured into sharp, useless thoughts. At some point, the lights flickered. Once, twice. Then everything went still. The hum of electricity vanished. The outside world fell silent, like someone had closed a door around my apartment. I felt it before I saw it. That pressure behind my eyes. That intimate awareness of something else sharing the space inside my skull. "You're doing it wrong," the voice said. It came from everywhere, from nowhere, from inside the space behind my thoughts. "I'm not dreaming," I whispered. It laughed, a sound like breath dragged across dry leaves. "You think this only works one way?" The room shifted, not visually at first, spatially, like the distance between objects stopped meaning anything. The wall across from me felt closer than the floor beneath me. The ceiling pressed down, heavy with unseen weight. The door appeared, not physically, conceptually, a certainty that if I turned my head just right, I'd see it. I didn't want to look. I looked anyway. It stood where my bedroom door